Alrighty, welcome back. Yesterday's video was not the video that we wanted to make, that is for sure. But we do daily process, and we've had this engine right from day one. You've watched it start, you watched when we bought it, you watched the transaction, you watched me make the motor mounts, you watched me drop the engine on top of the car, you watched me do everything. And yesterday was a disappointing time, and Jolene's devastated, sort of, I guess. I've sort of built the whole front end around that engine, and that's what I did. I built the front end around that engine, the rack, the motor mounts, mostly everything. We are now committed. We have to put a Jaguar engine in it. We are going to put a Jaguar engine in it, but we have to have a whole new adventure. That's one good thing. We're going to be on a whole new adventure. But at the present moment, we are kind of, what can I say? We contacted the seller and tried to tell him that what the issues were, and that Jolene was not happy, and we could not convince until yesterday that the engine was no good. We could not convince that everything was not done right, and what I'm going to do today is I'm not going to do anything other than explain what is explained to me, let's learn from it. How's that? There's been a lot of mistakes made. Let's learn from it. On the starter, I already explained the starter, why the starter bolts won't work. These are the fan bolts. These are the fan bolts that were cut in half, and that was it's not the right thing to do. So, as we tried to tell the seller that it was not right, and he kept saying that it was done right, and there's nothing that can change his mind, he done everything right. But let's go over it. The bolt was cut because he could not get the bolt in the hole on the fan without the side of the bolt cut. So if I try to get the bolt in this hole, he could not get it inside the hole unless the side of the bolt was cut. You can see how it's cut there and how the bolt would go in, squeeze it in, there you go. Okay, that's basically why I guess he thinks it's right. Now, let's go over this. If you took the fan off, you still could not get that bolt in through that hole. Yeah, it'd be close. If you pulled the fan off, you might be able to get a bolt in through that hole. So if you took the 4 bolts off, pulled the fan up a little bit, and then put your bolt in, you might be able to do that, maybe. Also, this is another thing. What I'm thinking is, this just so, when it becomes, and I must say, the seller is going to take it back and give Jolene her money back. She's happy for that. Yes, she is. But it took a lot to get there. It wasted a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of deceit, and a lot of bad words that probably, whatever. But anyways, to fix the fan and make it work. See the stud on the side of the head that accepts the manifold, or the exhaust manifold? Well, let's think about this for a minute. Instead of doing this, you would never be able to torque that down right, because half the head is gone. The torque is gone. Also, I want to explain something. Fan bolts, wheel nuts, do not tighten themselves. When they're loose, they come out. They come off. Like if you have a loose wheel nut, they do not work themselves tight. And neither does a fan bolt. It does not work itself tight. It comes off. But anyways, and the fix for the fan to make it right would be put a stud on, if he wanted to do it and he didn't have a stud, put a bolt in it, Loctite it, cut it off, and nut the fan on. That's the fix for that. And for us to not be able to convince him that it was not done right is, I'm just showing what to do. Put a bolt in it, Loctite it, cut it off, put a nut on it, and then slide the fan on, and then nut the fan. It would be like a carburetor on an old Skidoo. Like you'd have to put it on and then nut it as you go, but at least you would have a nut on it. Basically, that's the fix for the fan. Fix for the starters to have the right bolts. On the head, we have 2 Acorn nuts that are on the head, and there's no washer. Okay, so it's a big. I missed it because there was a breather that went over there, and I wasn't really paying attention. I was kind of like, the engine sounded good, all that stuff. Yes, it did, but it was only running for seconds or minutes. But anyways, as there's no washers on the head, I'm saying that that's an instant fail, and I'm going to give the reason why. The reason why is because that Acorn nut without the washer can bottom out on the head stud before it's torqued, if you know what I'm trying to tell you. That Acorn nut, that stud coming out, can be bottomed out on the head of that Acorn nut before being torqued properly without a washer. So when Jolene, we try to talk it over and hey, we have issues here, we have to deal with it. Like when you do the starter thing, yes, okay, and then you find the head thing, and then you find the fan thing, that is a giveaway that it's not done right. It's a giveaway. It's not done right. And that's a failure. That's a failure. And the starter was a failure. And we tried to fix it, but it would not fix until we had to do what we had to do. So if you have a problem with your fan, you can't get it on, put a stud in it and slide it on and nut it. And also, if it says to put washers on all the head nuts, there's a reason. It's because that could bottom out on the head stud before it's torqued properly. Alrighty, I'm just going slow because I want to talk it over, so I want you to know, and I want the person to know that thinks that it's done right, basically. We had yesterday, Jim said filter a few times, and Jolene taped Jim taking the filter off, and we just want to show you because I know that you heard Jim say filter too. And let's watch it. Excuse my licorice.
That's what I said when I took the thing off. I was like, wow, what's going on? Looks like clean oil coming out though.
This is Jim's moment, and he deserves it.
Appears to be the right filter. Spraying and washing.
What's that on the inside of it?
Fiber.
Fiber from what?
All the little pieces that go on this are sitting down in here. Fiber from, I would say, washing up inside the motor with steel wool and not flushing it out good enough. So it was the cleaning of the motor made the steel wool fiber that stuck here. But why this has so much sludge? Look. Holy. Every channel is full. The reason why there's so much sludge, every channel is full of debris.
Oh, wow.
All the way around. Plus the sludge in there. All the way around. Sludge, fiber, and dirt. Debris. It's almost like he washed it out, cleaned it, and didn't flush it. Oh, look at that one. Like, absolutely primitively disgusting.
That's Jim's moment. He got to take the filter off. And basically, why Jolene is upset is because she was giving a piece of paper and said that everything that was done to it, everything, 1/10 under, 15 pounds, 0.15 pounds, everything was torqued down, 45 to 57, tolerances and carburetors done and installed, intake cleaned, and there was more time spent writing this to convince her of that than there was in building that. And for us to go through that, and that is upsetting. But we're off to a new journey. We're going to do another engine. We got an engine at Bernie's place that we're going to go for. And I don't know what else other to say than that. It's a short day today because the engine is going back. We finally convinced that he needs to come get the engine, and it's leaving today. And yay! It's just sad that we had to go through what we had to go through, and I am not here to, do anything other than tell the truth and learn from the process of making mistakes. And basically there's some mistakes made. I learned from that mistake. Now I know why that the washer should go on there because I just explained it. I know why that you don't do that because you can put a stud in it and nut it so it stays on there. You can do that. It's just a few things that, and obviously this was not done to that because we know that from that and the messages that we sent back and forth. The only reason that we're at where we're at is because I wanted to detail the engine and make sure that you know that I would never cut someone out of my life for one little mistake. Have a good one, everybody.